We went to a wedding convention and we were looking for a photographer.
Everything was all stereotypical wedding photographers with the fake poses and fake smiles, and that wasn't what we were looking for.
My mom had talked to Kathy at El Cortez. She said there's actually a guy who lives here and he is so fun, and I just think it would click.
I think we liked his style of shooting because it wasn't traditional.
I'm a musician, so just being in that circle.
We'd seen him work at Street Scene and some other major events, and we really liked his photos, and he knew who he was. And his stuff had such energy, which was important.
Once we saw the pictures, for sure it was a no-brainer. It was going to be Rich.
Well, my style and my way of doing photography is always capturing the moment. It's always capturing the moment. There's so many moments that are happening that I anticipate the next move.
And he has a great way of capturing something, a hidden moment that you didn't know was going on.
He does capture things that you wouldn't even consider.
And not like your standard portrait, but like different kind of angles that are very unique.
His style is not like anybody who I've seen. I did a lot of research when I was getting married, and you see a few and you're just sold.
He can take a moment, like I said before about pushing cake into Julie's face, and it just turns into this amazing, looks like it's pre-production or post-production art photo. And I think he's probably acquired some of that from doing so much musical action sports stuff.
Music has been a big part of my life. I've been shooting a lot of bands, a lot of music, and fortunately I've been very fortunate of traveling around the world and being on tour with some of the biggest rock bands in the world. It is my style of shooting my weddings in a rock and roll format.
Yeah, with the action sports and then the music background, I think it adds a whole different element that a lot of other photographers don't have out there.
With sports and music in general, it's all about capturing a moment that's happening live and unscripted, and that's something that we wanted with the wedding photography too.
The one thing that I really can bring to a bride and groom is whether they have that style where they go, I want a rock and roll kind of a wedding. Like, I want those photos that are like just really cool and really hip. And they could have that style. I'm gonna bring it. I'm gonna deliver it.
Our whole wedding, our invitation was a concert ticket, so it kind of went hand in hand. I mean, it was a total natural thing for him to do music type action photography.
And that was the main thing. We were like, we don't want it to look like we're posing. It kind of goes back to being in a band, and it's like when you go to photo shoots, it's like you kind of know when you're like posing, and it's like it looks fake.
You've got to have that little tweak, and I think I really delivered that little tweak, that slight edge.
I think that definitely helps by having the background that he has. I think it puts him over the top of other photographers.
You really have to be one in a match with your clients.
My parents had met Rich, sold in a second, absolutely in a heartbeat. We hadn't even met Rich yet, and the second we met him, fell in love, and it was done.
He is part of the group, and by the end of it, I feel like most of the people knew him more than a lot of other people in the group.
And I'm part of that family. I'm getting in there real close with. I'm shooting with a fisheye lens, or I'm backed off with a 200mm lens. I'm gonna get in there, and I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna find out who who's who. It's always unique to find out who's going to be the characters. I want to know who they are.
Everyone got along, you know, so it doesn't even matter that I knew him and I had a history with him. Even if I didn't know him, I would be like, oh, this is great. He made everyone feel comfortable and he wasn't like in the way.
If he wants to, you know, liven up the party, he will, but then the same 3 minutes later, you'll be like, where is he? But you'll hear the clicking.
Whether, you know, I'm hiding in a bush or I'm 2 feet from you, you know, they get to know me. And by the time the end of the wedding's over, we're making friends and it's awesome.
It seemed like he was in 5 different places at one time.
He's in and out so quick that I don't know how he captured some of those moments.
You know, there was one shot in particular from our wedding that it took me a while to figure out, and that it was actually taken into a mirror on the ceiling that looked down.
Back behind a tree. We didn't even know he was there.
Rich might be just bouncing off the walls and he's just getting all this cool stuff.
I feel like I missed 75% of the wedding, but I get it all back.
And that's the best thing about his style, is that he really does take so many different, you know, just having looked through the pictures, just so many moments that you would never ever have been able to see. I
was not one to do the traditional way of wedding photography. You know, I don't have a time limit of doing 5-hour sessions or a 7-hour session on a wedding day. I'm there from the beginning to the very end.
Originally he was going to stay for 4 nights, but then he stayed for about 7, I think.
We got everything, basically. Rich caught every single moment, every detail.
And there's a picture for everyone there. There's a picture for everyone. Every single person has a photo where they look great and they look like they're having a great time.
I'll take a ball of twine, I'll throw you. I like a yo-yo on the ground, where you come up before you go down. Or to a ball of twine, you're like a yo-yo. Running on the ground, you come up before you fall down. Well, God save the Kinks and the music from the Big Pinks. Because Sonny Boy, well, he's better than you think. And other things that I hear on the radio, or they're singing all the same music, Fabio. I'd rather listen to the drips from the kitchen sink. So God save the music, and God save the pain.